What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is my check-in day. Yesterday was our official 4 weeks out, so today is kind of like my 4-week check-in. And with us being 4 weeks out this week, it's just kind of like hit me how fast time is going to go between now and the end of this season. And so I've been reflecting quite a bit on this prep, what I've accomplished mentally, physically, in the gym, just like how different this experience has been and why. And so normally this time of prep, I really start to get into my head and kind of like compare myself to other people. And that's really not happening this time. Instead, I've just really been comparing myself to where I was in previous seasons. You know, there's a lot of pro shows going on right now, like the New York Pro was going on yesterday. So that's kept me like really motivated and inspired. But what I've learned from previous seasons is that it's just so important to stay in your own lane. And I think when you focus on how far you have come and compare yourself to no one other than yourself, it really helps build your confidence and it really helps you keep your mind focused on what you can control and what you have accomplished in the past. And seeing what you have accomplished in the past is just proof of what you can do in the future for the days that you do have any sort of self-doubt. So a big topic this week was how I deal mentally with body weight fluctuations. I talked about it on my Ask the Amateur and did a whole episode on that. So if you're interested, go give it a watch. But I thought today would be a good day to do an InBody analysis. So this is just going to tell me what my current body weight, body composition is. And I really enjoy seeing the numbers. I really enjoy seeing the data. This is a tool that I have access to at our Wellness and Aesthetic Center. And I did one of these videos at the beginning of this prep. And so I just want to see, I just want to compare where I was at this point last year, previous seasons. I have like the last 4 years because that really kind of helps me ground in mentally. And again, just like is proof of the work, and that of course we are surely heading in the right direction and bringing our best this year. So in today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of a reflection. We're going to do a little bit of comparing past KP with present KP. I'm going to take you a little bit through my camera roll. I'm going to take you a little bit through comparing my InBodies. And then also today's check-in, we'll get some feedback from coach. I was a little sick this week. I thought it was allergies, but as the week went on, it like started in my throat, and then it's like I still have a little bit of congestion. So the last couple days I've really been feeling the fatigue. I would say like the last 2 days. I'm really not trying to dig myself a hole, just trying to like do what I can. So we will see how I look in today's check-in. We'll get some feedback from coach and some direction moving forward. So let's get into it. And I always start my check-ins with my 90-90 stretch on each side and some banded cat-cows just to open up my hips to mobilize my spine so that I can pose better for my check-in photos. I'll be right back. Don't miss me. All right, you guys, I am headed into Forever Young right now to do this InBody. I just set my check-in over to coach. So for my check-ins with my coach, I do those completely fasted before I eat or drink anything. I take my weight, I take the photos, I send them to him like that. But for the InBody analysis, I do these before I eat. So I just had my morning drinks. I had my gut drink, I had some hot lemon water, and then I had my mushroom coffee. Now I'm going to go and do the InBody analysis before I eat anything, because the InBody is electrical impedance. And so it's sending a current through your body. And if you have a meal or something sitting in your stomach, it kind of skews it and it can think that it's fat. So the most important thing, if you do your InBody analysis during the day, is to do it consistently at the same time of day every time that you step on it. every single one of my InBodies has been fasted. So I stay consistent. I try to keep it around the same time of day. It is 9:30 a.m. right now. So I'm going to go hop on, do this quick, and then go home and eat my first meal. I might do my pre-workout meal, and I might train earlier than normal today just because I'm not feeling the best. And so I might just get it out of the way while I'm like feeling better. It seems like as the day goes on, I start to like fatigue more and more. So that's kind of my plan. I'll see if coach gets back to me in the meantime. He might have some other insight or direction, but TBD. Right now, we are going to go and get this InBody and see where we're at 4 weeks out. Let's do it. Such a nice day, finally. You guys, this is actually insane. The lowest my body fat percentage has ever been with the most muscle I've ever had. So interesting. We're going to get to that. But first, I want to talk about other ways that I'm measuring progress because this is really important. This I don't really care about. At this point, this is like fun and very interesting for me. I talked about my last episode. I weigh myself daily now, and the number has just become information to me and for me, especially like being sick, like right now. Like you have to factor in so many different things. So, ways that I measure progress, photos, photos. I went down a rabbit hole the other night because I was creating some content. And so I was looking at how my form has improved in the gym this prep, like since I started doing mobility. And that was crazy to me because as I'm like obviously watching myself do my form at the beginning of this prep or even like in previous years, like this content is with my body at obviously a higher body fat percentage, like in my improvement season or just a different season, like as my physique is different. And so the photos and basing progress on how I look is literally what has changed my entire relationship with the scale. And honestly, that's the thing that I really love about this sport and about bikini in particular is because we are not judged on our body weight, you guys. That is just one metric that tells you very little. And so having the InBody analysis is just like really good insight. I think it's certainly more helpful in like a building phase when your body fat percentage is higher and you don't really see the physique changes week over week. Whereas in prep, your body is changing literally on a daily basis. And so it's more gratifying and motivating to see the physical changes and how you look and whatever. But like when you're in improvement season, at least for me, like when the food's higher, you're more lethargic, your clothes are fitting tighter, it's just different. I think the InBody kind of came more in handy then, which honestly I didn't even use it because I didn't even care. Like because I mentally wasn't in a bad place at all because my body fat percentage never got out of control. Did I look different? Did I feel different? Yes, of course. I feel like the first place that always fills out is my face, which I don't love. But I loved my shape in my improvement season. I felt the most confident I ever have at the heaviest weight I've ever been. And in saying that, I started out this prep at my heaviest weight ever at like 11% body fat, according to this machine. So that's just a testament to a good improvement season, to a good coach guiding me, and all the things. But for the sake of measuring progress and comparing myself when it comes to form, that was a pretty big eye opener for me because my form has improved so much on literally exercises I have been doing for the last 3+ years, you guys. And I'm going to get into training on another day and how frequently I change my training because we don't. And I think the thing that people have to understand with switching up your training and switching up your diet consistently and just like adding in variety is that the way you improve and actually change your body is through repetition, progression, execution and properly fueling yourself and taking the proper phases required to build muscle. And so doing the same exercises through all of the phases and executing them better over time. And this is 100% because of my mobility work. Why my form has improved, because I have less limitations in my body and I'm able to move better. And in doing this, I'm doing the same exercises, but I'm able to target different muscle fibers doing the same exercises. And something that really clicked for me in my head, you guys, is that it takes 20 hours of doing something to become proficient at it. Not excellent at it, not a master at it, proficient. And so when I say 20 hours of doing something, that's 20 hours of doing an RDL. I'm not a numbers girly. I can't with math, but I'm going to say this is going to take like 5 to 10 years if you're doing RDLs on a weekly basis to become proficient at that exercise. And so for people to get bored and think they're an expert after doing it, even for 3 years, like I'm still learning this movement. Like my body is always changing. Like the variable that's always changing is you and how you show up that day and how your body is moving. And if you have an injury or like whatever circumstances your current life, mentally, physically, emotionally is the variable that is changing with your training. And so changing the exercise too, you're not giving yourself a chance to improve. So all that to say, we'll get into that in a different episode, but I'm just saying, reflecting this week on watching myself do the same movement at different phases in the journey, at different body weights, body fat percentages, all of the things, but also like measuring my progress and how my form has improved is just a comparison that I've been making with myself, other than side by side photos, other than InBody analysis, weight, all of the things. Okay, you guys, I made the executive decision to go micless for this part because my mic died, but I forgot my adapter was still plugged in. So my phone picked up absolutely no audio, so bear with me. We are doing a voiceover. But basically in this segment, I'm going over my coach's feedback from my check-in. And considering I've been sick this week, the feedback was really reassuring. He said my physique still looks outstanding. I'm still tight and I'm still holding on to fullness really well despite being under the weather. And honestly, this is another way that I'm measuring progress right now and comparing me to me, because my relationship with recovery and knowing when to push versus when not to push has really improved, because in previous preps, I would have absolutely tried to force my way through this week. I would have pushed harder. I would have downplayed how shitty I felt to my coach, and I probably would have dug myself into a deeper hole. But growth for me has been understanding that sometimes doing less is actually the smarter move, especially in prep. There is a difference between discipline and self-destruction. So even though my appetite was lower this week, I still stayed on plan. I still got my meals in, and I was honest with my coach about how I was feeling so we could navigate it properly instead of just pushing through. So the game plan moving forward is to prioritize recovery so we can get me through this. So today I am still training. We are just pulling back on intensity to about 80%, leaving 2 to 3 reps in reserve. We are lowering steps today, no cardio tomorrow, so a full rest day, and I will be checking in again on Wednesday. We are on the move. It is time to train, but we're going to go over this InBody and talk about it on the way. We are first going to compare short term, where I started at the beginning of this prep to where I'm at today, 4 weeks out. So I started this prep at 141.2 pounds. This is my highest body weight I have ever been. But let's break down this body weight, okay? So 70.3 pounds of skeletal muscle mass and 11.7% body fat. So I started this prep 141.2 pounds at 11.7% body fat. At that scan, January 27th, we were 19 weeks out, okay? So let's fast forward to today, where we're 4 weeks out. Body weight, 129.7 pounds. Skeletal muscle mass, 69.9. Body fat percentage, 5.2. So in about 3.5 months, roughly, I am down about 12 pounds. My skeletal muscle mass is pretty much the same.
70.3 to 69.9. We've been able to maintain that lean mass while losing 12 pounds of body weight. Okay. And my body fat percentage went from 11.7 to 5.2. So this is the most muscle I have ever had and the lowest percentage of body fat I have ever been, and the best prep I have ever had, which is wild. I did do a scan in between these two. So basically every 2 months of this prep, because it's been about 4. The in-between scan, I was 132 pounds, 69 skeletal muscle mass, and 7.6% body fat. So these are the 3 scans that I have done during this competition prep and the data. Now, looking back at last season, I did not do a scan in January at the beginning, but I do have the photo and I do have the weight. However, I did do a scan in March. So March 13th, 2025, March 6th, 2026. Here is the comparison. In 2025, I was 135.5 pounds. This March, I was 132. In 2025, I had 64.2 pounds of muscle. This March, I have 69. So I'm up about 5 pounds of muscle and less body weight. And my body fat percentage in 2025 was 15.6. So this was my scan, like my starting point of prep. Whereas this March, I am 7.6% body fat. So again, same exact timeline last season. I have shows on the same weekends, almost same dates. So this is just how I'm comparing and measuring my progress, is comparing to myself, not comparing to anybody else, because when you compare your current to your ideal or the ideal, you're never going to measure up, because you're measuring yourself to your ideal. You're measuring yourself to an ideal that doesn't exist. But when you're comparing yourself to where you've been and measuring yourself by how far you've come, to me, that's what gives me confidence to keep going, is the proof of the work that I have put in, and knowing in my head and in my heart that I am surely bringing my best. And I also did a scan in May of 2025. So I will compare my May scan, May 24th. So I was actually further along than I am now, because today is the 10th. I was less body weight, 126 pounds, but I had 66.6 pounds of muscle. I am currently at 69.9, and I was 7.2% body fat, and I am currently 5.2. So lesser body weight, lesser muscle, higher body fat, compared to where I am now, where I'm at a heavier weight, more muscle, lower body fat percentage. It is just wild. And this is actually only showing me 2024. I do have my 2023 data on a different scan, which I'm actually going to pull up here, just because this is what really gets me. My first competition season with my coach was in 2023, you guys. I was like 110 pounds. And by taking an entire year off to improve, I stepped on stage 10 pounds heavier. And so when I say doing the work, going through the phases that are required, it is taking the time and investing in the phase and investing in yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, because your health, wellness, and fitness journey is all of those things. And when you just choose a show date that you want to be ready by, and you don't do the work to properly set you up for that, I think that's where a lot of the damage happens. That's where a lot of damage happens for competitors. It's where a lot of damage happens for people and their health, wellness, and fitness journey, is when you give yourself a deadline on a very unrealistic timeline and outcome. All right, we're on the move again, because we've got to get this training in. But I have been getting asked how I deal mentally with weight fluctuations and all the things, because I'm not going to lie, there is a level of body dysmorphia that comes with this, especially as I'm like sitting here looking back at like my training and improvement season, and just like remembering distinctly like those training sessions and how I felt in my mind and in my body, and like the confidence I had, but also taking inventory of where I'm at now watching it. that's where it gets a little confusing, because when your body is changing at rapid speed, like literally every day I look in the mirror, my body looks different. And it takes a minute for your mind to really catch up with the change. And honestly, this goes in both directions. This goes coming out of show, this goes going into show. And I think the part that makes it the most confusing is the outside validation that we get from getting leaner. Because if you are measuring your progress and your success on outside validation, it is a sure way to set yourself up for a really difficult time mentally, because that's just the reality, you guys. But you have to do the work mentally of just like being okay with yourself and measuring your progress in the ways that you measure your progress. And I think I have done that work by getting very honest with myself, by measuring my progress and how I feel in my mind and in my body, my confidence, documenting the journey, you guys. It took me 6 years to take a tripod to the gym. This is the first season I took a tripod to the gym, like 1 month into this prep. Yeah, of course, I do take the cute videos and post the content and whatever. But when you're in the movement, you don't see yourself. And so if you don't record your lifts and you don't watch it and you don't study it, like that's just another way you can improve. And so that's what I do. I record my lifts, I study it, and then I do better next time. And that's just additional proof for me that I am improving, and another way for me to measure my progress. So if you don't take the photos, you don't hit record, you don't look at yourself, watch yourself improve, take off your hoodie, take off the sweats, face yourself, because the proof is what is going to give you confidence. It's what gives me confidence. Like, yes, of course, the numbers, the data, it is so interesting, but it is just one way to measure your progress. And so, again, in previous preps, this is really where I would start to get into my head. And I think more so because last season, there were a lot of girls that I followed online that I knew were going to be doing the same show as me. And so, what happened is I started comparing myself to them, because all of those girls that were running the race with me, essentially, right? Like, I've been following these girls for a while. And when I say this, I'm meaning like everybody in the same part of the race as me. Everyone who is an aspiring IFBB bikini pro that I've met at different shows, that I've, started following their journeys online. Like, it's important to have a community, to understand there are people working alongside you for the same goal that you have. But it's really interesting in the sense that nobody has the body that you have. We are judged on our overall look, on our muscle symmetry, our muscle balance. And so, while yes, you are compared to the person standing next to you, but when you are working on yourself in season, off season, doing the work to bring your best, that is so very individual to you. And another thing that's really helped me in this pursuit too is understanding that, like, this is not about who suffers the most. It is not about who suffers the most to get on that stage. It is about who suffers the best. Because this pursuit, or any pursuit in your life, is chosen suffering. This is my chosen suffering. This is how I choose to suffer. And in choosing to suffer this way, every season I get better. And every season it feels less and less like suffering and more just like a part of me. Like, it used to be so hard to get myself to go to the gym. It used to be so hard to get myself to do my cardio. It used to be hard to get myself there mentally. It used to be hard to get myself there physically. And as you evolve in the journey, you get better at suffering. So I hope you guys enjoyed breaking down my InBody analysis with me, kind of going through all of the ways that I measure my progress and all of the comparisons, from the numbers to the photos to the form to the mindsets. Like, I encourage you to document the journey and measure your progress and compare yourself to nobody but yourself. Because comparing yourself to your ideal or the ideal is a sure way to never be good enough. But when you look at the proof of your past and you see what you're capable of and you see what you've accomplished and you see how far you have come, that proof is what is going to carry you forward. So we have got 4 weeks to go before we bring my all-time best to stage this season. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to train today, even though I don't feel 100%. I think it's such a powerful place to be that even on my worst day, I am still my best. And that is because I use every day to get better. And I know I will not get to the end of this season and wonder what it would have been like if I would have given my all, because I'm giving it. And some days giving my all isn't what that used to mean for me. It's not digging deeper. It's not digging myself a hole. Sometimes giving my all is getting quiet. It's slowing down, and it's doing whatever is required to put me in the best position possible to be in a better position tomorrow. So all that to say, I've got to go train right now, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you like this episode, please like this episode. Do not forget to subscribe. We are 4 weeks out, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of the season has in store. That is all I've got for you guys today, and I will see you in the next one.